Hello Christchurch, it's Mr. Cottrell here. Now unfortunately I can't see all of you at the moment, so I thought it would be a nice idea to send you a little video just to recap some of the things that we've learnt in our last few lessons. So this video will have two parts to it. In the first part we will learn about the different parts of the violin and what they're called, and in the second part we're going to look at the latest tune that we've been working on, which is Under Arrest. So first of all, let's have a look at the violin. Here's a picture of a violin, and I have drawn some X's over the different parts of the violin that I want you to name. So pause the video for a few seconds and see how many of these different parts you can remember the name for. At the top here, the curly bit is called the scroll, and underneath the scroll are 4 tuning pegs which are sticking out the side of the violin, and the strings are wound around those tuning pegs at the top. You can see the 4 strings and you can just about see the top of the fingerboard here. So here's another view of the bottom end of the fingerboard, and we can also see the bridge, which is what the strings are resting on, and either side of that we can see the 2 F holes. That's where the sound comes out of the violin. And now if we go right to the bottom of the violin, at the other end the strings are attached to the tailpiece, and you can see there's a little tuner attached to the E string on the tailpiece here, and next to the tailpiece is the chin rest. That's where your chin goes. Let's have a look at our strings now. There are 4 strings on the violin, and each one is named after a letter of the alphabet. But the problem is they are not in alphabetical order, which makes it a little bit tricky to remember them all. So to help you remember, you need to think of the sentence: greedy, dogs, always, eat. So the first letters of those words are G, D, A and E. If we take a look at this picture on the screen, this is what a violin looks like if you've got it up on your shoulder. So on the left is the G string, and that is the thickest one. Then the D string is next to that, which is a little bit thinner. Then the A is a little bit thinner still, and then your very thinnest string, which makes the highest, squeakiest sound, is the E. So now we're going to have a go at playing Under Arrest. This uses the G and D strings, which are the 2 thickest strings. If you hold the violin up on your shoulder, then it's the 2 strings on the left. We're going to learn the tune one line at a time, so let's start off with the first line, which as you can see here is 7 Gs followed by 1 rest. First of all, you've got to make sure that your bow is on the G string, so your bowing elbow has to be lifted right up so you can reach over to the G, and you're going to play it 7 times, but you need to make sure that you do these 7 down and up. So you're not going to do 7 downs in a row like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And you're also not going to do 7 ups in a row like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So they're both wrong. You need to make sure that you move forwards and backwards, or down and up, like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So pause the video and have a little practice of that now. Now we're going to try the second line, which is 7 Ds. Remember, the D string is right next to the G. It's a little bit harder to play though, because you've got 1 string either side of it. Now 7 Ds sounds like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Again, pause the video and have a practice, but this time of 7 Ds. Now let's try the third line, which is 3 Gs. So that sounds like this. 1, 2, 3. Again, pause the video and have a practice of 3 Gs. The fourth line is 3 Gs, which is exactly the same as the third. So if you want to practice that again, then feel free to pause the video and have a try. But because it's the same, I'm going to skip it and go straight to the last line. Now this is the most difficult because it has 2 different notes in it this time, Gs and Ds. In fact, it has 4 Ds, followed by 3 Gs. So that sounds like this. D, 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 G, G, G. Again, pause the video and have a practice of the last line. Now that you can play each line on its own, we will try and put the whole thing together so that you can play all of Under Arrest without stopping. Now, 2 things to mention before we try this. First of all, at the end, you can see there are 2 lines, one thin and one thick, and they have got 2 dots in front of them. That is a repeat mark. So once you get to the end, you have to go straight back to the beginning, to the first line where you've got 7 Gs again. The other thing we have to look at is the introduction. Now, an introduction means a bit of music at the beginning before you start playing. In Under Arrest, the introduction lasts for 8 beats. So you will hear a piano playing at the start for 8 beats, and it sounds like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then that's where you come in with your 7 Gs at the beginning. So now I'm going to play through the whole of Under Arrest with the introduction at the beginning and the repeat. And I'd like you to play it along with me. So get your violin on your left shoulder. Make sure you're holding your bow properly with your right hand. And here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. G, 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 G. Rest. D, 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 D. Rest. G, G, G. Rest. G, G, G. Rest. D, 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 G, G, G. Repeat. G, 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 G. D, 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 D. G, 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 D, 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 G, G, G. If you managed to get all the way through without stopping, then well done to you. If you'd like to have another go at it, then you can just rewind the video to 6 minutes 30 seconds and you can try again. If not, then that's the end of the video. Thank you for watching and I'll see you soon.